Hi, loves. Today on AW Confidential, I am joined by actor Daniel MacPherson, starring in Beast, a film set in the world of MMA where the real fight isn't just physical, it's internal. Let's get into it. You.
Hi, it's good. I'm Dan. Lovely to meet you.
Well, first of all, congratulations on the film.
Thank you very much.
It was, whew, there was a lot, there were a lot of emotions, a lot of emotions.
Right?
This film, well, the film lives in the world of fighting, but
Hmm.
the real battle for me was internal. And there's a line that will stay with me, I think, I don't know, as long as I can remember. There's a line that says, and it's Russell Crowe who says it, if I can breathe, I can think. If I can think, I can win. What does that mindset really take? Because those are powerful words.
Russell had come up with that, and that was part of his input into the script from his own boxing history and his own. So, as much as it was about that moment and about that scene, it was also there was this meta world where it was Russell Crowe's own experience and history being gifted forward to those of us on Beast as well, to a younger generation of Australian filmmakers and whatnot. But yeah, I've always come back to the strength of breath and the strength of stillness, and I think more in this world today than ever before, that's where you can find your power, and that's when you can find your strength and your clarity, and that's always been a really personal discovery and a mantra for me. But then when Russell Crowe is screaming it in your face on set in the first 4 minutes of a fight film, and you're there giving back with as much power and energy and intensity as you can, the whole crew got goosebumps. The director
I'm getting goosebumps.
is everybody around the world, and that's the first 4 minutes of the film. So that moment pretty much solidified the success and the sale of Beast around the world off that first 4 minutes, and it still continues to affect people when they watch it now. And it's a wonderful setup because immediately you have the audience feeling something, and it's like, great, let's take them on a journey to go back and have that feeling again.
And I want to, as because you just mentioned this about feeling something. Patton James is such a grounded, such a humble character. He really is a beautiful character. It's like he has this control on the outside, but chaos underneath. What did you tap into within yourself to bring that out? Because you did it so beautifully.
Thank you. I still get quite emotionally connected to Patton James. He's such a complex man. But Tyler Atkins and myself, Tyler the director, and I, Tyler was adamant that he was morally sound, and he was always written with a great morality and a great moral compass and a great ability to see between right and wrong. But Tyler also made sure that he never lied to his wife. He never lied to his, like, he was, even when the script was like, oh no, he's going to say no, he didn't go training. Tyler was like, I just think we got to tread this line. Tyler really protected that, and I think that came up, that really exemplified the moral compass of Patton James. But I on a personal note, I had a role like Patton James come into my career at age 42. I think that the period between either side of 40 for a lot of men, and I can only speak to the male experience, is one of the most challenging in this day and age. And I think, for me, I left behind boyhood and was moving into manhood. And it was a time when I discovered, I became a father, and fatherhood and pandemic and striking and all sorts of the challenges that come through that period. And so Patton was a man who was searching for identity, and he was searching for his purpose, having gone through a transitional time in his life, moving away from being a successful athlete, searching for his role as a father and as a husband. And I think he'd lost himself. And I think
And a
that's
brother.
and a brother, and a brother. I mean, the most complex relation, or a surrogate son to Russell Crowe. So he's trying to be all these things to all these people, but really struggling to be with who he is with himself. And so he has these broad shoulders that he carries and supports all these other relationships on. But like you said, the inner turmoil is what's driving him, and that is he knows exactly who he is, and he's got unfinished business, and the only way he's going to get to where he needs to be is going and resolving that and the reasons behind that. So for me, it was a very personal love letter to those in the world who have lost their identity, lost their purpose, lost their sense of direction, and are struggling to find their way through.
And many of us can that will resonate with so many. So thank you for sharing that. I can only imagine that playing this character challenged you, not just physically, by the way. That's a whole nother episode because I'd love to know what your training looked like. But I want to know about the quiet way in which this challenged you because it wasn't only physical. I can imagine playing a character like this brought up things for you as well. So, what did playing this character reveal to Daniel as a man?
It took, on an outward level, it took every level of my skill set and every part of my toolkit from 25 years of acting and of sport and of life to go, right, I need the discipline that I had in my life as an athlete and a triathlete. I need the work ethic that's come from soap opera, and the relentless work ethic that comes from doing long-term series running television. I need the experience that has only come from working with Russell Crowe on 2 films prior to Beast in Me, or to working on some of the biggest sets in the world on Foundation opposite Jared Harris and directed by David Goyer. And so it was a combination and a culmination of all of that stuff. But then the quiet moments that you talk about were the ones where finally, as a film actor, you trust what you're doing internally is enough for the camera. And you trust that a camera and an audience are going to come to you rather than trying to show them what you want them to see. And it was the first time in my career, truly in a performance, where people call it method acting or they call it immersive acting or whatnot, but I was very much living that life and that character, and had then had the confidence and the support from people like Russell and Tyler, the director, just to step on set and be enough and let the camera come to you. And
Wow.
that allowed people come into Patton's world.
And what do you hope that audiences watching this won't be able to shake? Because for me, it's that quote. And, as an entrepreneur, as a creative, I feel that I have a lot of those days that I need to get out of my head. I need to sort of sit in that stillness that you talk about. So for me, I will take that with me. But what's that moment for you that you're hoping people just won't shake?
I had one of those moments. I had one of those mornings this morning. I was rattled when I woke up this morning. My head was full of noise. Australia, America, everything going on. Parents, family, children, life. And I had to get out the door for a walk. I had a 20-minute walk. I used to go for a walk this morning just to clear the head. I hope people come out of this film inspired. I hope they come out inspired to fight their own battles, to know that if you have the bravery, the boldness, the courage, and the self-belief to go out and fight your battles with integrity and with wholeheartedness and open-heartedness, that maybe you can move forward into a new phase in your career or life, or whatever it is you're looking to move through. But the moment for me, and we shot this movie out of order, but
Try not to give
there's
anything
a
away.
moment there's a moment where Patton shakes his self-belief. He shakes the idea that he may not be worthy of this. And that for me will be one of my most proudest cinematic moments of my career, I think.
Well, thank you for sharing that. And I like to end our interviews with a truth bomb closer. Oh yeah. So I truly believe that we all have beast within. What's a moment that you had to face your own beast and you couldn't run from it? Because we tend to run from it. I think it's that survival instinct that we have to run from the things that can hurt us. And now I'm learning that I have to run towards that so I can confront it and keep going. And it's a lot of work.
Yeah. I think the universe puts you where it needs you. It puts you where you need to be. And there's often times, and I've had it in life. I had it in fatherhood, and I had it post-divorce, and I've had it during the pandemic and things like that. The place you want to get to, the only way to get there is to go through it. You can't go around it. You got to go through it. And sometimes
Period.
that takes the beast to get through it. But you can keep going around things your whole life, but until you just ground
Face it
yourself and
head
get
on.
through it, you're not going to get to where you want to go. That's how I feel anyway.
Well, Daniel, thank you so much. I needed this movie this week. I needed this conversation. You've inspired me. So thank you so
Oh,
much.
thank you. Well, the fact that our movie is resonating in the way it is, it means the world to us. So thank you so much.
Thank you and congratulations.
Thank you.
Take care. And that was Daniel MacPherson from the Lionsgate film Beast. A reminder that the hardest fight isn't out there, it's the one within. I hope you're inspired. This is AW Confidential, where truth leads the conversation. I'll talk to you soon, loves.